You ever wonder what really makes a great SaaS product tick? I'll give you a hint. It's not just the slick design and the pretty charts you see on the screen. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden engine that can literally make or break a company. Let's dive in.
Think about any tool you use every day. You log in, you see this clean, simple dashboard, and everything just works. It feels effortless, right? And that's exactly the point, to make your life easier.
But here's the thing, that simplicity is an illusion, a very carefully crafted one. Underneath that clean surface is a massive, incredibly complex system. It's an architecture that dictates everything from how fast the app runs to its security, and even whether the business itself is going to survive.
So let's start right there with that simple surface and talk about a huge myth when it comes to building modern software. Now, this might sound a little controversial, but it's the absolute truth. A beautiful user interface, that's just table stakes these days. It's the price of entry. The real game changer, the thing that separates the serious companies from the hobby projects, is the strength of the architecture running underneath it all.
So let's get into that hidden engine. Because once you understand this part, you'll understand what the real stakes are when you're building a SaaS product. Okay, so what do we even mean when we say architecture? Well, think of it as the entire blueprint of the house. It's the system that makes sure you are who you say you are when you log in. It's what processes all the data, handles how other apps can talk to it, and crucially, it controls who gets to see what. It's the very foundation of, well, everything. And that leads to the big question, right? If the architecture is the engine, what happens when it's built poorly? Well, the results can be, and often are, pretty catastrophic. And you would be shocked at how common these mistakes are. So many teams get excited and jump straight to designing the pretty UI without any real plan for the back end. They completely forget to think about what happens when they go from 10 users to 10,000. These aren't just little oversights. These are massive cracks in the foundation that can bring the whole thing crashing down. And what you end up with is something we call a demo-level dashboard. It looks amazing in a sales presentation, but it completely falls apart under the pressure of real-world use. And trying to go back and fix these fundamental problems later, it's not just hard, it's an incredibly expensive mistake that has sunk more than a few startups.
All right, so how do you avoid that nightmare scenario? You build it right from day one, using a proven blueprint. Let's break down the 4 essential layers of a system that's actually built to last.
First up is the part everybody sees, the front end. This is the user interface, that tip of the iceberg we were talking about. So the front end's job is to look great and feel fast, whether you're on a giant monitor or your phone. But its most important job, by far, is to communicate securely with the back end. Any weakness here is basically like leaving the front door of your house wide open.
Now we go a layer deeper. Underneath that visible surface is the back end. This is the real engine of the whole application.
The back end does all the real work. It handles your login and processes payments, it enforces your subscription rules, and it makes sure all the data coming in isn't junk. For this layer, top-notch performance and security are completely non-negotiable. If the back end is slow or insecure, the entire product is a failure, period. Next, we get to the heart of the system, the place where every last piece of information actually lives, the database. The choices you make here will follow you for years.
Now, the critical decision you have to make is how you're going to store all that customer data. Are you going to have one giant shared database where everyone's data is carefully separated, or will every single customer get their own dedicated database for maximum security? If you pick the wrong model for your business early on, you are setting yourself up for a world of scaling headaches down the line.
And finally, we have the foundation that the entire system is built on top of, the cloud infrastructure. This is what lets you sleep at night. Using services like AWS or Google Cloud allows your app to automatically handle huge spikes in traffic, spread servers all over the world so it's fast for everyone, and make sure your service stays online. Without a solid cloud infrastructure, your own success could literally crush you.
Now, a really important idea that ties all of this together is called multi-tenancy. It's the standard for pretty much every SaaS company. It's the art of serving thousands of different customers or tenants using a single shared system, while absolutely guaranteeing that each customer's data stays completely separate and private.
And this is the perfect way to picture it. Think of an apartment building. Everyone lives under the same roof, which is really efficient to manage and maintain. But every single tenant has their own private apartment with its own locked door. Your data is your own and nobody else can get in. That, in a nutshell, is multi-tenancy. This brings us to our last and, frankly, most important section. Because this isn't just a tech talk. This is where we see how architecture is actually a core piece of business strategy. See, when investors or potential buyers look at a SaaS company, they don't just glance at the revenue charts. They pop the hood. They bring in their experts to inspect the engine. They're asking, can this system handle 100 times more users? Is it secure? Is it reliable? A poorly built architecture is a massive red flag that will directly lower the value of the company.
This chart just makes it crystal clear. That demo-level dashboard, to an investor, that just screams high risk. They know it's going to cost a fortune to fix all its hidden problems. But a solid, scalable architecture, that's a high-value asset. It proves the business is built to last and can grow without breaking. The difference in valuation is just stark.
So, as we wrap this up, this is the one question to really think about. Whether you're a founder, a developer, or an investor, it's the most important one you can ask. Are you building a structure or just a surface? Because in the world of SaaS, the surface might get you noticed, but it's the structure that actually builds an empire.